Hi, Carly. I'm seeing this cartoon-like appearance that you're interested in working with. It's an interesting thing with depths because cartoons usually flatten things. You have to be very careful about that. Like, for instance, using an outline, um, it's a really it can be a really nice stylistic thing to do, but it's also in terms of depth creation, it really flattens things out compared to if you don't use outline. And so sometimes it might be really hard to create that a depth as well as using outline. It's not impossible, but it's usually not as strong or realistic in terms of the depth if you're going to do that. So it's just something to keep in mind. And since the goal is to really work with depth in this assignment, I would probably try really hard to just focus more on that than the stylistic things. I wouldn't say you shouldn't experiment. It's just I would say the depth comes first, and then you can see what happens with the rest of it. I do see that the shadow that you've created, it's kind of like a drop shadow, creates depth, and it's good that you have them mostly in the same position. Um, the texture has depth to it in a more realistic way. Um, this one here is not really having a lot of depth, this form here. And I'm not sure if you'd be willing to treat it a bit more like this. I would also consider using gradations, and also the overlapping is working nicely, but maybe you can make sure that the largest forms are in the foreground that are on top of the smaller forms, and the smaller forms maybe you can get a little bit smaller as they're going back into space. So I would continue to work on this a little bit to see if you can't increase the depth.